Welcome, I'm Christian Touma, and today I would like us to get into details about what is happening or what happens in Langata Cemetery. Of course, you can see I'm joined by two caretakers here who have been here very many years and they know Langata Cemetery inside out. Maybe without wasting a lot of time, let's just hear from them. Maybe what's your names, those who don't know you, and when and how did you find yourselves here? Starting with you.
My names are Isaac Pungu, and I'm a customer service officer stationed here at Langata Cemetery. And I just found myself here by chance because the initiative to bring at least a customer-centric cemetery was one of the governor's visions for Langata. At least iwache kukaa somewhere isolated, so he tried at least to look for those gaps, and wakasema at least wacha some personnel wakuja hapa wa focus on the customer, bringing things like problems, issues, positive feedback. All of them always help.
My name is Vincent Onyango. My main duty here is the allocation of grave numbers and partly cremation. How did I find myself here? I found myself here after the loss of my sister. To me, Langata Cemetery is more tertiary because before I used to work at the city mortuary. That one is much primary. It used to equate hizo memories za sister. So when I was let up like some sort of punishment, and my sister akakufa during that period, I decided to remain here. So actually, with regard to the same, Langata Cemetery is more tertiary in terms of anything funeral.
Yeah. Maybe Isaac, what are some of the activities that are undertaken here in Langata Cemetery?
The main activity, of course, is burial, because we always intake a lot of. We are trying to make Langata to be an option, to where loved ones can bring their families, their deceased ones to Langata. Na isikaya sifati. There was that notion, akiwa Langata ametupwa. So that is the main thing that was supposed to be at least giving people an option. We also do cremation. They know I said. Kuna nini mingine?
Na burial, cremation.
Burials, cremation.
And exhumation?
Exhumation.
Yeah, exhumation. Yeah.
So Isaac, hapo kwa burial, what is the burial cost? Maybe for a person within Nairobi, outside Nairobi, infant, adults, is it the same cost or do they vary?
They do differ. In fact, inategemea na the place of death. For an adult, if the death has occurred within Nairobi County, that one goes for 30,500 shillings for the permanent grave. For the temporary grave, irrespective of the place of death, 7,000 shillings, 10 shillings. We have children over 1 year. Death outside Nairobi, 28,500. Within Nairobi, 22,500. Then with regard to the temporary side, for a child over 1 year, it's usually 4,000 shillings. Now we have the last category of the infants, children under 1 year. Permanent, 15,500 if the death has occurred within Nairobi, 21,500 if the death has occurred outside Nairobi. And with regard to the temporary side, it's usually how much? 2,000 Kenya shillings.
2,000.
Yeah, irrespective of the place of death.
That's on burial. What about cremation cost? Is it the same cost as the burial cost?
Not really, because right now the finance bill 2024, right now we have cremating an adult is 20,000 shillings. Cremating a child ni pesa ngapi?
Child is 14.
Ni 14, yeah. Currently 14. Then we have infants. Though as much as that is a bit rare, but you inaendanga for 12,000 shillings, yes.
Okay, still under cremation, there are some questions, of course, being asked. After cremating a body, where do we take the ashes?
After cremating a body, right?
Yeah.
Let me first of all demystify this notion. We do not pick up all the ashes that are in the furnace. We usually single out the bony framework of the body which has been disintegrated. That bony framework, once we single out and pick out the brittle bones, those are the ones that are crushed manually, like the mortar in pestle, after which they are taken to the city mortuary, and then they are ground into fine powder. So these particular remains actually can be used to extract DNA if at all there's any sort of dispute baadaye. Because someone might ask, why not the mbona si majivu yote? Because this ash iko na flesh, iko na manguo, iko na the casket itself. So you wouldn't be able to differentiate ash ya nguo na nini. That's why you pick the bones, because actually it's the body na tunataka, the remains of the body. So the body framework.
So back to you, Isaac. People have talked a lot about cemeteries, not just Langata Cemetery alone. There's that notion that these are graveyard and we may experience ghosts. For your period of time you've been here, how can you answer to that, respond to that question?
Ghosts.
The issue about ghosts.
For the time I've been here, personally I've never seen them. I'm very curious. Me as an fresher sana if somebody ever, like, there it is, yeah. But personally I've never seen them. But it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's a public place. Somebody has to do this. Yeah, it's just because everybody, hata ukipata pale ocha, people have grave sites. This is just because imeleta majority of mingi to one place. That's the only difference that is there. But in terms of costs and everything, bado.
Okay, Isaac might, you may have a different experience from Isaac's experience. I want you to tell me, and whoever is watching this, do you have a different experience from what he has experienced? Because we hear a lot. Of course, even Langata Cemetery, there's that notion of there's a lady who appears and disappears. I don't know if you've heard of the same. Okay, maybe from your experience, what have you experienced? And this notion about the lady ghost, is it true?
Personally, I've never encountered a ghost within the cemetery. But by all accounts out there, there's a lady who usually transits from Nyayo Stadium to this place at night. So once she alights, she makes her way into the cemetery. There was a case, there were two motorcyclists waligongana head on, moja alikuwa anaenda wrong side, and I was made to understand that one of the motorcyclists alikuwa amebeba the particular lady alionekana in white. So actually waligongana, hii stand ya kuwekea mwavuli, mmoja akaingiza kichwa ikaprotrude ikaingia. They died on the spot, but the lady was nowhere to be seen. So actually mimi ningetaka hata nikutane na yeye. So
hey, curiosity. Don't get it wrong. Hapa ikiwa usiku hadi branch ikianguka, because I know pitch darkness, branch ikianguka unaweza toka mpi. Lakini to experience azinama hizi inaitwa what
some illusion.
Hiyo bado.
Okay, so away from the ghost issue, there is okay, people say there is the stealing of caskets from the Langata Cemetery graveyard. Is it true that we have that problem still going on, whereby people come and steal caskets from Langata Cemetery? Isaac?
From the senior people that have been here, that got employed long time ago, you find 1990s. hao wenyewe hawajai kupatana na kesi kama hiyo ati this grave somebody came opened it up akatoa nini. They have never experienced that. So hata kuuliza hivyo mi hata yangu my question would have been ishaikuwa, because the allegations, of course, every member of the public outside here has an opinion. All of them have an opinion, but the moment something like that happens, it's a criminal case where this person with an opinion should actually go report it, get an OB number, investigations are done. Because also pia mimi naweza kuwa very curious because mimi sijai nini hapo. So the cemetery is still here. The cemetery will be here today, it will be there tomorrow, the following day. I would love at least mtu akuja ni hapa ndo ili you get what I mean? Yeah, because the ground is still here. The records are there, we have grave numbers, we have nini say it's this and grave ndo ilifanyika.
Okay, you asked a very good question. Ishawahi kuwa. There is this reformed criminal, of course, John Kibera. Today he preaches in the streets of Nairobi. He talked about they had a gang and the gang members were, some were burnt down, were burnt into ashes, some were shot dead. And he comes out every time and then saying, okay, he was, and okay, they were, because it was a gang, they were stealing caskets from Langata cemetery and other cemeteries. So does this mean that maybe you haven't heard of the same, or is it just a formulated story he's coming up with?
You know, I can't mtu wezangi sema something is formulated before hata evidence yekwe kwa meza. Maybe this guy has evidence zenye Isaac doesn't have. But if at all any family has any problem within the cemetery, the first thing wanafanyanga wanaenda kwa ofisi, they report the problem, ndo tujaribu ku look for solutions and all that. So imagine a case where mtu amekuja grave, amepata grave yake yenye alizika jana is open. That one is immediate intervention. But so far since nikuja hapa I've not had any major case, because that is major. That is major. So I'm very curious hata yeye mwenyewe anatoanga hii story wapi. I'm not sure kama ni story ama ni nini. Inaweza kuwa ageza kuja tuambie ni hapa. Hapo ndo at least.
All right. Okay, so Isaac, as a senior staff here, how many workers are working inside Langata cemetery? And what do they generally do?
A maximum of 8 to 9. Let's say a maximum. We give it 10, right? 10. There are others who are based at this temporary section. They deal with the temporary. We have the customer service, customer care, right? And there are those. There's this one who supervises everything, who is in charge of the cemetery. We have another one that is in charge of the records. We have others that do allocate grave numbers, and we have the different department of enforcement and compliance that deal with the security of this place.
Okay, back to you, Isaac. There is this question, maybe you can respond to it because you're in position. Is it possible to bury two family members in the same grave? In that they can start, maybe if it is that the husband and the wife who died, and they want to be buried in the same grave. They start with the husband, they they put some soil, then the wife, then they cover it. Is it possible?
Yes, it's usually an option. It's an option when a client comes. It's an option that I must avail to the client. Ndo ajue, but it has, lazima itoke kwa hiari ya familia. The family has to want it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also in the charter, the service charter. It's called the grave reopening. Yeah. So I've been here when some of them have happened. Yeah.
So in that case, what is the cost? Will they be charged as two bodies or a single body?
No, you know, now majority of I've never had a case where hawa ni watu wawili wamekufa, wanataka kuzikwa kwa shimo moja. That one unless you bad. hiyo bado hiyo sijaona.
Okay.
So what normally happens is maybe over a certain period of time, or maybe the family will elect to do that later on.
Okay.
That one I've seen it. But
so back to you, Isaac. What are some, not Isaac, Vincent rather. Who are some of the prominent people that have actually been buried inside Langata Cemetery, or those who have been cremated inside Langata Cemetery crematorium?
Okay, with regard to the prominent people, those who went with the Lord before us, we have one, Benson Wanjau Karira, famously known as Mzee Ojwang. Then we have one, Mrs. Anne Wamboi Ofula, the husband to Raymond Ofula. Actually before nakumbuka ilikuwa program lineup ilikuwa inaletwa kwa, like nowadays hakuna mtu wa kutangaza, but before wakati wa hizi tunaita great, there had to be some kamadama hapo, stay tuned, ana introduce a certain program. Actually hiyo ndio ilikuwa kazi ya Anne Ofula. Recently tumekuwa na Njambi Koikai, and mwingine naweza kumbuka ni the late gospel artist anaitwa Kaberere. Yes, Kaberere. And maybe to name, to sisahau na Kahama, na K1 and K2 ambao sisi Kahama International Hotels.
What about those who were cremated?
Those who were cremated, we have the late, what was the first name of Matiba? Kenneth Matiba. And the cousin to His Excellency Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I can't remember, but I can remember the name Njoroge. Actually, he was cremated, and the remains were buried within the cemetery.
Okay. So I've been walking around. I've seen a lot of cattle grazing inside here. Are you not in a position to control the movement, free movement of cattle in and outside the cemetery? And of course, there is also that claim, I don't know if it's true, that at night, the hyenas are freely moving inside the cemetery. Isaac?
On the cattle, first of all, on that other side, there are some manyatas that have been there even ever since, and with Masais, come on, observe, Masais, they have cattle. So as much as the cattle come within the cemetery, we try at least to restrict them using the security team so that they don't interrupt, since we always have processions going on, different services going on. As long as they do not disturb those different processions, then we don't have an issue. They can just graze, do their thing, at least where there are no graves and where they cannot disturb anybody. So at least we try to control them in that.
What about the hyenas? Because when the grave is not cemented, then it can be exposed to hyenas who can dig out and reach out to the corpse.
Yeah, with Langata, you'll hear almost everything about Langata. And us who work here, we're still curious. These claims, where they come from, as much as we have the national park on the other side. Yeah, but in terms, I do believe the KWS are doing their jobs. Yeah, but in terms of that, me myself seeing bad. Yeah.
Okay, still with you. I have been walking around the cemetery. I've taken my time to go around. I've realized there are three necessary things that are missing, and this is there is absence or inavailability of water, electricity, and even latrines. So how can you respond to this? And how do you cope up with the situation? Has the government failed you?
As much as we come to work every day, we try at least to make sure our clients have the best affordable resource available to them. So on regards to the toilets, first of all, the planning of the cemetery is an issue. Because the toilets when you get a new area, the first thing you put up are the toilets.
Exactly.
Mostly an area where you're going to dig all over. The toilets should come first.
Yeah.
But at least the county with trying to mitigate this issue, we are seeing the coming up of 4 different toilets. As much as there are toilets not pit. This one, fresh life here inatumia sawdust. Yeah, because that one you can't just start digging around right now where we are right now, because if you start digging unapatana na there are graves all over. So imagine what digging an outlet to the main system can do. So as much as the complaints were there, but they were raised, then the county retaliated by at least providing the different areas, because we're talking about 100 plus acres. There's no way you can have one toilet. So at least we have tried having different toilets at different venues to at least help mitigate that. With accordance to electricity, mostly majority of our clients visit the cemetery during the daytime, and electricity, I can't really say electricity at that time is a priority as much, but when it comes to night time, you need the lights, at least the big street lights, and in that case you're not really talking about electricity but power, which can also be generated through solar panels, as we see some being done.
Okay, what about water? Because these are an essential thing here, because some graves, as you can see, they are cemented. In absence of water, where do they get water to cement the graves, or how do you access water inside here?
Water can be an issue, but when it comes up, we have at least we try at least to mini from the outside. Yeah, we try at least to deal with that on a case by case basis, because not every person elects to do all this. Where people need water on a constant supply. So the moment you come, the customer is always right. The moment you come, I will need water. Langata kuna maji. I just tried at least to facilitate how they can get the water here.
So back to you, Onyango. I think Langata Cemetery dates back to 1958. So do you remember the first person who was buried inside Langata Cemetery?
The first person to be buried within Langata Cemetery, as per our records, is one Flint, Michigan. He died in August 1958. That's the oldest. So amebakisha like a bit over 30 years. Afikisha the maximum lease period of 99 years.
There is also this claim, I think we just put them clear to the public maybe. There's a claim that Langata Cemetery is responsible for the disposal of the unidentified bodies from City Mortuary, which they currently call Nairobi Funeral Home. Is it true or false?
No. Isaac, is it true?
Not really.
Not really.
With every there's usually an identification process that is usually undertaken at the city mortuary, which involves the police, the wanaitwaje where records, ile place utapata fingerprints I know it's a subsidiary of the Ministry of Interior, where all the records are.
National Registration Bureau.
Exactly. So there's usually a constant, because every single unidentified body goes to the city mortuary. So there's usually a constant identification. I'm trying to identify people that goes on almost every day at that facility. So speaking on that, inaweza kuwa a little beyond my privy. Because
so Onyango, there's a section of the cemetery. We've seen a lot of the I think the whites or the Europeans who were buried there. Maybe elaborate on the same. How comes some of the Europeans were buried here during that period of time?
Okay, during that period of time, there was this segregation even in death. Actually, as we speak, there's zilikuwa zimegawanishwa into RC, those that did wale walikuwa na profess the Catholic faith walikuwa wanazikwa kwa block ya RC, meaning Roman Catholic. For those Protestants walikuwa wanazikwa kwa block ya CE ama Church of England. So hapo utapata blocks mingi, kuna RC, kuna CE and everything. So ukiniuliza za whites, actually ukienda pande za Roman Catholic, those are Goans. Goans ni wale Waindi wali intermarry na the Portuguese in a city called Goa huko. So hao ndo the descendants of huko. Actually hao ndo wamezikwa wengi pande ya RC because a good number of them do profess the Catholic faith. The other side with the British now, the Britons, hao ndo wamezikwa tunaita 2A mpaka 2F. So utapata by then actually the whites ndo wangeza afford permanent graves. For us Africans kwa tunazikwa temporary.
Okay.
Yes.
So Isaac, differentiate, because we've been talking of permanent and temporary graves, differentiate the two.
Okay, with the temporary graves, at least it was a chance by the county to accord everybody that opportunity because of costing mostly.
Yeah.
To accord everybody the opportunity to bury their loved ones. Yeah, so first different mainly is the costing. The main different is that Mosquito story at least.
Yeah.
With the permanent graves, at least somebody gets that's why it's a bit gully.
Yeah.
Somebody at least anakuwa
So temporary, how much is it? Sorry,
7,000 shillings.
Then permanent?
Permanent, you're talking about 3,500 shillings for
30,000.
30,500 shillings for an adult within Nairobi. Outside Nairobi, 40, foreigners a bit 50k. Yeah. So at least trying to accord everybody that opportunity.
All right. So for how long does the temporary graves take?
Basically there's no rate of death. Yes. So answering that is there's no time period. Yeah.
Because we understand with the temporary, at a point maybe somebody else will be buried, right, in the same place.
With the temporary, must say what we say Langata imejaa. But you see Langata is so long as there is the existence of the temporary section, Langata ijaja, because eventually that particular section itakuwa turned into permanent. So Langata Cemetery itakuwa imejaa wakati the whole of this place is permanent, just like City Park.
Yeah.
City Park ilifungwa, wale wanaweza zika hapo ni reserve or ile tunaita grave reopening. But hapa saizi eventually that temporary section temporary section so long as ziko, mimi najua Langata ijaja na itakuwa ijaja hata by the time na retire. 30 years from now.
Okay.
20 something years from now.
So still under the permanent part or aspect, we've seen families securing a certain graveyard, right?
Yes.
Do we have some of the famous people you know or families that have secured places inside Langata Cemetery?
The most recent is this renowned actor, Makoha. Makoha did bury the wife here, and he made a reservation. So yeye anajua atazikwa kando ya bibi yake. That's the most, hiyo ndo naweza mkumbuka, the most recent celeb ile naweza sema. Who else?
There is a grave I saw related to the Citizen TV's news anchor.
Yes.
I think, was it the dad or?
Yeah, the dad, Albert Okwara. So Yvonne, when the unfortunate happens, Yvonne will be buried next to the dad.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe, what are some of your, maybe the challenges? Personally, I haven't asked these when we were interacting. The challenges I raised are those I personally saw. Maybe from your sides, what should the government work on, or some of going through, maybe just in brief?
Challenges. Maybe a challenge that might arise is space. That's not my challenge personally, but it's going to be a challenge in future. Sometimes you have to oversee things and try to come up with solution before that happens. So as much as people watu wasemanga Langata kulija, itafika siku Langata kutaja. Now that is where the challenge comes.
Because before it was established, people were being buried in is it Nairobi Cemetery, something like that.
Yes,
City Park Cemetery,
you've been
right?
given an example of City Park.
Yeah.
Right now, City Park, Ilija. Now we have reservations left. So you have a situation where Langata, Kutaja, what comes next? Because majority, you can find, I think this is the Indo Ile Cemetery in Kenya. These are Mtu Cemetery after Langata.
Yeah.
So once Langata is gone, what comes next? So that is not a challenge now, but kitu yenye I feel inafaa kuwa addressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
My main challenge is once before anyone does anything on the grave after interment, there's this construction fee that is paid to the county. It's payable at the city mortuary, 7,000 Kenya shillings. Now from there, the bereaved family can source for a family from outside or from within the cemetery. So this actually, I've had a lot of cases. The bereaved family wanasikizana na fundi anakuja anawekea chuma, anapiga picha like today. Kishapiga like today, the next day mwenye the bereaved family wamekuja kuvisit, wanakuja wanapata chuma kuna. So the main challenge, mimi in my humble opinion, in the foreseeable future, kama county inaweza fikiria or the relevant authorities wanaweza fikiria wasecure hii place na perimeter so that kuwe na specific points of entry and exit, because you can imagine this is a vast area na kuna anyone anaweza ingia from anywhere na anatoka from anywhere. So like wanakusoma tukiwa point A au wanaoperate hivyo. You understand? Then umekuwa na cases wameweza kuziba kuanzia wakati wa curfew. Zinaenda zinaniniwa. Hatujui kama ni kuiba, siwezi sema, but unakuja unapata chuma imemiss. Hujui utaambia mwenyewe nini. You have to unainkaa hiyo cost because ulikuwa umesema utakuwa liable if anything happens. So unaona, for us it's a challenge in a way.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe before we wrap up, of course, when you're working here, maybe the family members, friends, or those people outside there, they may be viewing you in a different way. Are you experiencing the same? Huyu anafanya makaburini. Do they view in a different way? And if so, how do you cope with that?
That's always there. It was always going to be there. But what the fundamental thing that I've done all through my professional life is ile kitu inaniletea mkate na maziwa. Somebody has to do it, and this is my 9 to 5. So these days inafika point mpaka mtu akuuliza what do you do? Nafanya cemetery, facilitate watu kuzikwa, because somebody at the end of the day has to do it. Sio calling ya kila mtu, but somebody has to do it. And I'm proud at least to can meet good people. You learn something new. That's also something I must say about this place. This place, you learn something new almost every day for the last, I don't know how long I've been here.
Mimi hiyo hainitatizi sana because to me, as I stated earlier, this one is more tertiary. So mtu akijaribu kuniambia naambia by the way hata before nilikuwa kwa mortuary. So this one actually nilikuwa hardened na Garissa massacre. So hapa najua I know the deceased najua just by names. In contrast with the other side, mali unapata una assist in postmortems, unaweza mpaka address, unaweza fanya mpaka makeup and everything. So for me, kwanza nakuwaga proud naambia come on, mwambia cemetery nilikuwa kwa mortuaries before. That's how I handle it.
So, okay, there is that notion, those people who work in the cemetery or mortuaries, you must use some hard stuff. Is it true? To give you that courage?
No. You see, way back before, this profession actually, the main credentials, some qualifications ilikuwa ni your ID na courage.
The two.
Yeah, so long as you are
no education.
There was no education. But so currently, unaona tumejoiniwa na kina Isaac hapa. Unaona, si wenyewe tumepitia hivi na hivi. Actually unakuja unapata whatever unafanya si kitu umestudy. But juu ya hiyo maziwa na mkate vile alikuwa anasema and everything iko tu sawa. So ningependa demystify this notion outside there. Tukitoka kazini, pia sisi we have the right to unwind just like the way an ordinary man or woman would unwind after kazi.
Yeah.
So we don't have to necessarily take something just because we are here. Hapana.
So Isaac, what is that moment that really hurt you since you started working here? Maybe a burial of a child, an adult, or any incident that happened here that really hurt you, that you really felt like imenigusa sana?
Normally you get that almost every day. With huyu mtu mwenye amekuja kwa ofisi ama umeenda kwa ground, kuna shida, umefanya nini, you have this person is grieving, but you have to get how do you address this person, how do you make something known to this person, how do you na huwa anakuja na all that emotion, all that nini, because kuna kwa na nguvu different from you coming here to inquire to you coming here to bury. Those are, you'll meet two totally different people. And you have to cope with that no matter what. You just have to cope with that because if I'm not strong, mi pia nikianza kulia nalia, mi nalia. So that one, as much as it comes almost every day, lazima baki somewhere. Do your job first, then you console maybe after kazi imetendeka, sasa ndo unaambia mtu.
So before we move on to Anyango, maybe in an extent whereby somebody comes, okay, they want to bury the person but they don't have that cost even for the permanent grave, what do you do?
First of all, you must give the person every single available option. You must give the person every single available option. Then yes, sasa pick.
Have you experienced this?
Yes, but you know that one now is beyond our purview because I have my operating guidelines where this is this. So I cannot make nini for myself. So if this is this, I'll first give you all available options. If at all, let's say not everybody can afford the permanent grave. That's why the temporary grave is always an option. Or hata unaweza nini, as much as haiko kwa dini yangu, naweza advise mtu hata extend. If at all familia hapa, I extend, look for funds, those funds to do everything. It's not. So that is beyond me. Hapa tena inaleta the question about every day. How do I get to explain to this person that if this is not the option, this is the alternative?
What is that moment that really hurt you? I know you've been here for very many years. Over 10, right?
No, not 10. This is my 6th year.
6th year.
Those
are very many years.
So, actually, mine, taiangalia from this perspective, cremation. I did cremate a fetus all the way from Kilifi, kuja kwa Unasandi. Na since then, I never cremate infants again. Siwezi, ilinishinda kabisa. Because you imagine mtu hii aja kwa fully developed. After the cremation itself, the maximum number of the body framework, the maximum number of bones unaweza pata, they're like 15 peke yake. So if you're not careful, zinaweza chomeka hata zote. So hiyo actually imekuwa ikiniaffect hata nilikuwa naenda counseling. In fact, nowadays mimi cremation ya infant siwezi karibia. Personally, I can't, siwezi.
Okay, so maybe before we now finish up, after experiencing all these things every day, at a moment, do they affect you psychologically?
Now, you know, with that, we always at least we were given an open door policy to the county shrink, the councillor. Is at the 4th floor of the annex building. So that for a moment, I made that suggestion immediately after training for me and my team. Immediately after training, so that as much as we have had training on this, some things getting used to them, it's not really, as human beings getting used, and as Africans getting used to it So to address that, at least we have counseling services. If you feel to something is bothering you, before it watch and then it festers, you form a dam, then it breaks. To avoid that, at least ile point una feel imenini, get some counseling.
Maybe to add on the same, this medical scheme, Nairobi County medical scheme that was introduced, you pay by MTBA.
Yeah.
So if that particular councillor you have based your analysis in your mobile, you can seek the same services at some cost, of course, than you on a county. So if you wherever I'm down, you know, put in the one all the way from the Garissa massacre, Westgate, you want to that route. Just amesema before Madam and Greg said, visit a counselor. Try the counseling sessions. Open up to your colleagues. Wambie na feel hivi like. Yeah.
So the very second last question.
Yeah.
If you would not have been here, where would you have wished to be, or where would you have wished to be actually, or whom would you have wished to be?
With regards to that,
Yeah.
One positive, one positive I can say.
Yeah.
I believe you're asking me professionally.
Exactly.
One positive thing I could say with Langata that has really helped me is that customer service concept. Before this time, I had never haugeipata kwa CV yangu ikitwa customer service. Right now I get to say I did customer service in Langata Cemetery.
Yeah.
So hakuna ile place ingine ningepata hii. So kusema kuna ile place ingine ningetaka kuenda. Of course professionally ni kitu we handle on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Where I am today is not maybe where I will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
But with regards to this,
Sawa.
true.
Okay, na wenzangu.
Mimi naye, there is this renowned, the former chief government pathologist, that one was Dr. Alex Nasi Olumbe, who used to hail from Caroline. The current chief government pathologist, Dr. Johansen God, ana hail from Pangani. Hizi ni estates za Eastlands. Mimi nimelelewa as one. So maybe at some point in time pia mimi ndazipata.
And dreams are valid.
Yes.
And I pray that may that dream come out true. So actually guys, it has really been a pleasure having you. I've interacted with you and I've really enjoyed. At least I've known what Langata Cemetery is through you guys, and I still continue to wish you the very best. Happiness is all we yearn for. If you are here and you are happy, that's it. So maybe before we just finish up, your last word to whoever is watching you.
Whoever is watching me, Langata Cemetery is here. Langata Cemetery is always an option. And it's the most inevitable thing. So mtu akinini tu atanini, sisi tutachunga. Just make sure.
All right. Manyanga, the last word?
My last word, I would kwa mtu yote yuko pale nje, si ati sisi utamani watu wakufe. No, we are always here to provide the service once or in case it happens. That's all I can say.
Of course, another question could be: do you have the dry spell in aspect whereby you say biashara iko chini? But I don't want to ask that one. Of course, you've said very well, you don't wish people to die. But once it happens, because it is something that will happen to all of us. So you take good care of them. So guys, it has really been brilliant being with you since we began to this point. We are wrapping up this. Remember, it's a root of all of us. And I remember telling you every time and then, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. This is a mandatory enemy that we must face by the name death. And of course, the arrival day and time still remains a mystery. So regardless to wherever you are, just be prepared, because the coming time and day remains a mystery. It has been really brilliant being with you. Until next time, bye for now.